Hello everyone. Hopefully most of you already know me or have heard of me, but in case you haven't, my name is Servin. I am an incoming biomedical engineering senior, the current VP for Science Day, and I believe that I would make an exceptional director of operations. I know that some of you may be a bit surprised that I'm running for the position given my previous stance, but rest assured, after careful evaluation of my academic goals, my future schedule for next year, I determined that I had enough time to dedicate to this position. And if I'm being personally honest, I care about this club and the people for too much to not involve myself. In my original speech for VP for Science Day, I campaigned that I wanted to lead the present and future ship members. And while my efforts were well intentioned, I have maintained this goal, but I believe I could do so much more with this position. As it stands, running for the Director of Operations comes with unique expectations. This position has been considered for a while, and I would like to thank this general body for allowing us to officially induct it. To me, the Director of Operations is an essential support role. One of the main jobs is to manage the logistics for large events, including booking, budgets, and invitations. For a while, there's been a trend for event VPs to burn themselves out in order to ensure that every aspect of their event is well planned out and executed. As an event VP myself, I am no exception. Of course, we do our best to allocate work, but that comes with the territory that we have to manage those people that we expect the work to do for us. However, I had such a great committee that I didn't have to worry about you all, but that may not always be the case. But I experienced many logistical complications regardless, and it is difficult to have another point of contact because VPs are expected to fulfill that role. Having an official member establish a connection will allow event VPs to focus on what matters the most, which is creating the workshops, creating unique interactions with the ship members, and making the event a more personal experience for them, not having to worry about the details that may detract them and discourage them. The other main task of this position is to help the treasurer for any tasks that overwhelm them or that deal with the university, most notably being an active role in the ASUA and other funding affairs within the university. And then if any of you are acquainted with roles of the treasurer, you know that they have a lot on their plate. But aside from my knowledge and willingness, I consider myself technically qualified for this position. The majority of the director's tasks are logistical in nature, requiring effective planning, professional communication, and adaptability. As an event coordinator, I demonstrated these attributes, and I have similar experiences operating other clubs, like the Autism Society, Tucson Festival of Books for DMES, and in my research academic life, like contacting doctors, other schools, so I have an ability to effectively communicate what is needed for events, which is one thing that I feel has issues with a lot of event VPs. And with this experience, I became confident in accomplishing any task necessary not only for my success, but for the success of others. However, the most important attribute of this position is initiative. Because this is a new position, it should be occupied by someone who is willing to set a precedent. And with these expectations, it should be someone who is willing to accept and overcome failure. In my term as VP for Science Day, I strive to be active throughout the entire year. And I went above the letter of my position, but maintained the spirit of ship. And throughout my time, I've experienced many successes, but equally as many failures. Some failures were of my own doing, and some were brought on by circumstance. Regardless of the cause of the failures, I learned to adapt and overcome. Doing this made me a better ship member, leader, and person. I learned not to let failure limit my ambition, and I will carry this mentality if elected. I would like to conclude by being honest, by being frank, for one last time. I originally believed that because I set up my future, I would not gain as much from this club as other members. I was wrong. I realized that there is more to gain than job offers, award, recognition. That personal development is equally as important as professional development. So I would like to thank you all for your commitment to this club, our familia, And I would be greatly honored if I could serve it one last time.
Yes.
Questions?
So, like a lot of the previous candidates are saying that they want more sponsorship, like for specific events like La Familia Science Day. How would you help them specifically to allow them to bring those, sponsorships?
So that role would be under the umbrella of working with the treasurer. Also, depending on the type of sponsorship that they want. So for my event, we had IBM actually have a workshop sponsored. So if they're looking for a specific company to display a specific subset or to appeal to a major, I can work with the treasurer on that. And being on the e-board, I now know the most notable players and people who have been willing to help us. So I can always start from there. So I have experience contacting them and engaging with them. Yes.
What strategies would you employ to deal with a conflict with an organization such as ASUA or the Student Union Services or ESC, for example?
So depending on the scenario that I would have to engage them with, a lot of the time we have issues with funding or communication or the fact that the wait times for responses have been longer than expected. In that case, I would determine, because I have not actually sat in with the meeting, but I would expect that you would be able to communicate them to follow up, expecting a response. Also, looking over this year, I believe that a role that I would want to take upon is to look over the proposals and make sure that they effectively communicate what they want and the urgency of what we need. And so in order to ensure that nothing is taken away from us, that we can maximize the access to anything that we need.
One last question. Anyone has one? No? Right. Thanks, Frank.